All right, we be live. Hello, everyone. Please let me know in the live chat that my audio is good so that I could start the show without any issues. Make sure you like the stream. Today's show is very important. I am going to introduce something to you that a lot of people don't understand. And understanding what I'm about to tell you is important for and understanding. Let me actually turn this off. This is actually, pay attention to what I'm about to say. This is very key. Understanding what I'm about to show you in this show is important for winning the battle of our lifetime, one of the battles of our lifetime. And you might think that I might be exaggerating, but bear with me. I will show you some examples. I see Roy is in the live chat. Thank you, Roy, for being here. I will send you some examples, and these are just anecdotal. Some of them sent to me by Roy. Some of them I found myself. And then, just to make sure that you understand that this is not anecdotal, I will show you the scripture that this way of thinking is based upon. And then I will also go and show you examples of the ramifications of why the people who think like this, what does that mean for us? What does that mean for the world? Israel is just an example. This is not just about Israel. This is about our planet. This is not just a military battle, but an ideological battle. And right now, we're not winning it. Empires have fallen because the barbarians at the gate were let in by insiders. And these insiders, they do not understand what they're fighting for. I need you guys to understand what you are fighting for so that you are a lot more well equipped to fight back, because you're part of this ideological battle. Every single one of you who is here is part of this ideological battle. You are soldiers. If you are fighting, again, this war cannot be won unless we are winning it, not just with borders, not just with bullets, not just with tanks, but with words, because they're winning it with words. They're infecting us from within with words. So you need to know what words to use in return. So let me just first play some videos for you. And then I will give you the scripture to show how this is a fundamental part of Islamic thought, right? And then also tell you why the left Islamic alliance, you have the barbarians who value death over life, and the woke from within who is open. And again, I know that this is not exaggeration, especially because I've seen it happen. Right? I come from Iran. I'm Iranian. This happened to an entire country. An entire country was lost because of this. So this is when people think that we're fear mongering. It's very many Iranians know that this is not fear mongering, because an entire country fell because of this. Right? The people who are supposed to be the materialists, who focus on nothing other than this world, allied with people who did not understand, care nothing about this world. The whole point of doing everything, doing politics, doing philosophy, doing science, is to better this world. When you have people who do not even believe in this world, who do not believe in this life, when you ally with them, when you let them in, you destroy everything, because they don't believe in anything that is real. They believe in a shadowy afterlife, and they're working for that. Guys, can you please make sure in the live chat that you have liked the stream? Because I want more people to see this. I need you to share it, because a lot of Westerners don't understand this. This is the base understanding that you need to have to know what side we are on, to know what we're dealing with. Because a lot of people think that this is about real estate or about land or about lives. They keep telling you the number of people who are dying, as if that's what the other side cares about food, about water, about medicine. It's not about this. This is not about even this world. They're fighting on another level, and they will win if you do not understand this. They will win because they're willing to pay a much higher price than you. And they will win because traditional deterring methodology doesn't work on them. The whole point of winning both military wars is deterrence. That's how you win military battles. How could you win against an enemy where traditional deterring methodology doesn't work? So even if in other wars, ideological battle was as important as the military one, this is even more important. Let me stop talking. I will just show you some videos so that we are on the same page and we understand what we're talking about. And then I'll get to the larger ramifications and also the battle that we are in and what does this all means. Okay, so let me just put the first video on. All right, so this is in Arabic. This is a Palestinian woman. Let me actually bring my show notes so I could tell you exactly what we're looking at. This is a Palestinian explaining to an Israeli her view, her understanding on life and death. Okay, so this might seem anecdotal, but I will show you that none of this is anecdotal. So listen to what she has to say. I will read the translation. So this is the Israeli telling her, she's saying, no, to us, life is precious. She responds, okay, life is precious, but not to us. That's what she says. We feel that life is nothing. Life isn't worth a thing. That's why we have, again, I have to be careful about this word because YouTube is very sensitive about these words. Okay, so I'm going to say self-deletion, self-deleting, self-exploding people. Okay, just look at on the screen what I'm saying. You will understand what I'm talking about. They're not afraid to die. It's natural. None of us fear death, even our children. It's natural to us. Our people get killed dozens at a time. When one of yours dies, this is key, listen to this. When one of yours dies, it shakes up your entire world. For us, it's normal. So she's seeing herself as superior. Like the fact that you care so much about life, that's your weakness. We cry out in joy and celebrate when someone becomes a shaheed. Shaheed means martyr. To us, a shaheed is a big thing. A martyr. To you, when someone gets killed, the whole world turns upside down. You take it very hard. And now the Israeli responds, what's preferable? Like, is your way, is what you're saying, is that a good thing? So she asks, what do you mean? So Israeli says, what's better? So the Israeli clarifies that life is precious or that it's not precious. Like, which one of these views is better? So she says life isn't precious. No, life isn't precious. That's what she says. Okay, so let's go to the second video. This is Muhammad Hijab in the UK in a protest, right? So supporting, with the Palestinian flag. And now look at what he's saying. Listen to him. So somebody's saying, here's an interesting, somebody says, then don't, somebody in the live chat, prostate in the live chat is saying, then don't cry when you get annihilated, Islamist cult. That's the point. They're crying and selling this as a tragedy is not for their own internal consumption. That is for the West. That's a tool. That's a tool. This is the barbarian trying to get in, but it needs somebody from the inside to open the gates. The people who are opening the gates are the people who don't understand who are they opening the door to. So when I say the leftist woke, they don't understand that when they are protecting these people who think that they are being that they're protecting them from death, that protecting them from death is not even in their priority. Like that is a mask that they have for you, so that because your ideology is focused on protecting the oppressed, they have to portray themselves as the oppressed so that you open the door to them, both in your countries and in your academia and on your media and also in your minds. So the traditional gates that we had, like empires opening the door to the barbarians, these gates are now metaphorical. They are borders, there are minds, there are the academia, there are the media. That is the gate that we need to hold. And that is the gate that is being opened by the people who don't understand what they're even protecting. So there's two narratives. When they come, when internally they understand that death in this cause is a good thing, but externally, to be able to get the support of insiders of liberal countries and Western countries, they need to have a different narrative. But this is what they actually believe. Let me actually listen to what Muhammad Hijab, and when they say this, believe them. When they say this, believe them. So listen to what Muhammad Hijab has to say here.
The difference between us and them is that for them, they think life begins. For us, we believe that death begins. We believe that life begins at death. We don't care about death. We love death.
We love death. For us, life begins at death. The more important life. The life that they are looking for is not this life. The life that they're looking for is the one that comes after. Given that there is no life after, what they are celebrating is death. This is why this is a death cult. Do you understand? There is no more dangerous ideology than this. Do you understand why why the concept of an afterlife, an eternal afterlife, is the most dangerous idea you could introduce to mankind? Do you know why I am saying that's the most dangerous idea that you could introduce to mankind? Because every single other ideologies either is trying to come up with methods, either good methods or bad methods, to improve our life. Some of them get it right, some of them get it wrong. But then there is a whole different category of ideas, especially Islamic ones, that is not even bothered by improving this life, because this life is nothing. This life is meaningless. They are going for their priority is a shadowy, made-up world. So over this real one, every calculation on what is the right thing to do will become wrong. The logical conclusions of these false premises will always give you a wrong, dangerous conclusion. This is even more dangerous than bad ideas that are wrong because they have the wrong solution to improving your lives. Do you understand? Because it's not even trying to improve your lives. It's trying to improve your afterlife. Do you understand? Please let me know in the live chat why this is. Do you understand why there's no more dangerous ideology than this? Everything, all we have is our life. All we have is our world, this life, this world. There's nothing. The dunya, the concept of, they say akhirah versus dunya. They prefer akhirah over dunya. Akhirah means afterlife. Dunya means this world. We have nothing but the dunya. So imagine an ideology that teaches you to dismiss dunya, to dismiss life. Can there be anything more dangerous than that? An ideology that teaches you to give up everything that we have. Let's go to the next video. Guys, I really need you to like this video. I really need you to like this video, because this is the difference between understanding what we're up against and not understanding it. And this is the confusion. This is why everybody who is trying to, many Westerners who are trying to analyze what we need to do to like change these people's minds or basically resolve this conflict, because they don't understand that the people that we're talking about are playing a completely different game. All their analysis end up being wrong. All their analysis end up being wrong because they don't understand what we're dealing with. They have this Western mindset about, oh, we value life and they value life, but they value life differently. They have different priorities in their life. So we have to understand what makes their life better so that we could maybe negotiate with them or convince them to, live peacefully with us. They don't understand that this is not even, they are on a completely different level. They're playing a completely different game. You need to understand that to be able to win this battle. And again, I'm telling you, this is the battle of our time. This red-black alliance, as the former king, Muhammad Reza Shah, coined, he called it the red-black alliance, red representing leftists and black representing the Islamists. This red-black alliance is how empires fall. We are living at the best of times because of this world liberal order, and it could crumble from within if we are not careful. We think this is how it's always going to be. We think this is how it's always going to be because we're just so used to it. Because we think like, oh my God, look how long have we had this world liberal order? 150 years. And we are so arrogant to think 150 years is so long that this will just last. We have no idea how fragile this peace, this order, this stability that we're enjoying today is. Empires, bigger empires that lasted 1,000 years had fallen because of exactly the same issue. So you could lose this. You could lose this fast. Don't be so confident about the fact that the way things are will just remain. This is a fallacy that people have in their mind, that because things are the way they are confident that it will just remain that way. Our people's brains are wired to think that this is just how it's going to be. You could lose everything. Anyways, let's listen to this woman. Oh, let me actually read the show notes on this one. Oh, so this is a Palestinian mother who's celebrating her son's death. And she says, this is the first time I see joy in my heart. She says she sees joy in her heart because her son died. Imagine how unnatural this is. One of the most natural thing in the human mind is a mother's love for her child. But again, she's not being irrational. Given her premises, this is the logical reaction you should be having, because why wouldn't you be celebrating it? Your son has went to the best place imaginable. But listen to what she has to say. Let me actually. So she's saying Ibrahim, her son, saying Ibrahim was shot. But there are hundreds of Ibrahim. Everyone here is Ibrahim. You are all Ibrahim. You are all my children. Ibrahim has left to his beloved prophet Ibrahim. So he's saying, my Ibrahim, my son named Ibrahim, has now gone to Prophet Ibrahim. He has left to his beloved Prophet Muhammad. He has left to his beloved Allah. So all praise be to Allah. Okay, so this is the mother of a Palestinian terrorist. So this is Ibrahim. Ibrahim won. He won. Praise be to Allah. We only have peace. Oh, no, that's not So the caption here says, we will only have peace with the Arabs when they love their children more than they hate us. Oh, that was a quote by Golden Meir. So that's a pretty powerful quote, actually. That was good. I like that quote. Let me actually remove these videos. Let me give you a few more examples, and then I will show you the Quranic verses. Let me put this myself on the screen here. So let's look at this one. Let me actually read the show notes for this one. This is another Palestinian mothers celebrate the death of their children. They praise God for taking them as martyrs. So let's look at this too. This is the mother of a 16-year-old who was killed during the riots in Jerusalem. This is the first time I see joy in my heart. Okay. Oh, so this is the mother who said, this is the first time I see joy in my heart. This is the mother of Muhammad. So she's saying, this is the first time I see joy in my heart. This is the first time I see such joy. Yeah, this is the first time. I thank Allah for giving him martyrdom. So that was that one. Let's look at another mother. So this is called, in Persian we call this kalkala, I think. I don't know. This is what she's doing is something that is in Arab culture, a sign of celebration. So let's listen to this one. Let me read the caption for this one. This is another Palestinian. These are Palestinian mothers who are also celebrating the death of their children. So I don't know what you call this in English. The thing that the Arabs do with their tongue as a sign of celebration. It's kind of like clapping, but it's like, it's making this sound with their kulu. What is this? Is this how they call it? Yeah. Look, this is another one. They're so happy. They're saying our sons are shaheed. They're martyrs. Okay. So people are saying it's called kulululu. Okay. We call it kelkele, I think, in Persian. Look how happy they are. Imagine a mother's reaction to her child's death being, look at the smile. Again, YouTube, we're against all of these. Okay, we don't encourage, we are showing this as a way to disagree with them. I'm not endorsing any of these views. All right, so let me actually bring some. All right, so look at this. These are the Quranic verses. I just want to make sure that you guys don't think that this is just anecdotal. These are just a few people that believe these things. Okay, so this is Quran chapter 29, verse 64. Right, so this verse says, and this worldly life is not but diversion and amusement, and indeed the home of the hereafter, that is the eternal life, if only they knew. All right, so let's go. This is Quran chapter 87, verses 16 and 17, where it says, but you prefer the worldly life, while the hereafter is better and more enduring. So here's the next verse, chapter 2, verse 86 says, those are the ones who have bought. Let me make sure I shared the screen properly. Yes. Those are the ones who have bought the life of this world in exchange for the hereafter. So the punishment will not be lightened for them, nor will they be aided. So the people who choose this life over the afterlife, they will be punished. They will be severely punished in hellfire. And I mean, there's a lot more. I just wanted to show you a couple of examples, just so you see. This is Quran chapter 3, verse 185. Right, so this one says, every soul will taste death, and you will only be given your full compensation on the day of resurrection. So he who is drawn away from the fire and admitted to paradise has attained his desire. And what is the life of this world except the enjoyment of delusion? So this is key. I just want you to make sure what is the life of this world except the enjoyment of delusion? So they're selling you another delusion, which is the paradise, and they're calling this life the only thing that is real. Quran calls it a delusion. And you're basically, if you're enjoying life, you're enjoying a delusion. Listen to me very carefully now, okay? Listen to me. Zan zindagi azadi, am Israel hai. I know I'm not pronouncing that well, the second one, okay? But what am I saying? Zan zindagi azadi, am Israel hai. Tell me if you understand what I'm saying. Why are Iranians saying Zan zindagi azadi? Why are they saying woman, life, freedom? Because a lot of people understand the woman part, and there are a lot of people understand the freedom part. Because their mindset, like a lot of Westerners, when they listen to these three, they don't ask themselves, what the hell, why do we have life in this chant? Why would we have life in this chant? Like, woman, okay, a Western person's mindset takes the fact that life is important as given, because they don't understand that they are benefiting from a recent revolution called the Age of Enlightenment, where the value of human life became so centralized in their ideology that they think this is inherently true, and they don't understand that this was gifted to them. This was given to them by people that came before them, and people fought for this idea, and people died for this idea. They assume their centralized mindset is just a universal. Their Western-centric mindset is a universal one. So when they analyze the world, they look at what is harming people, and that's bad. Okay, so that's why they understand the woman part, because they're like, oh, we understand Iran is a place where women are being oppressed and stuff. So woman means women's rights. My mindset, Western mindset, understands that. Freedom. Okay, I understand that. They don't have freedom. They're fighting for freedom. What the hell is this life thing in the middle, right? They don't understand that the life in the middle is because the Iranian people understand that they're fighting a death cult. That the value of life is not as given as you think in the world. There are actually people who are openly and transparently anti-life. So when Iranian people are saying women, life, freedom, they're saying that we're fighting for life against the cult of death. And again, the other side doesn't act like, oh, we care about life as well. They don't. This is not something that they hide. In Iran, the people, the religious people and the pro-government people, they insult us by calling us life lovers. I know this is, maybe you think I'm exaggerating. By the way, guys, I see the super chats. I will read them soon. They see life lover as an insult. They call us Jundus. By the way, just so that you know that a lot of Iranians are not going full woke. The full chant is Zan zindagi azadi, mad mihan abadi. So they wanted to make sure that they're not making this a gendered revolution. So woman, life, freedom, mad mihan abadi, man, nation, prosperity. So also the mihan part is important because they're valuing their nation over Islam. So it's Iran over Islam. A lot of people chant ham Islam, ham Quran, hamash fadai Iran. Means I will sacrifice Islam and I will sacrifice the Quran or Iran. That's another chant that is popular in Iran. But who are so think about this. Because a lot of Westerners, because of the Age of Enlightenment, because of the values that came from Western Europe and spread all over the world, they have this. They have been gifted with a mindset that values life. And it spreads in so many places. It spread into, even in the East, like it went to South Korea and Japan. Japan also had an ideology that was a death cult before World War II. But Japan is now, because of its impact by the values that came from Western Europe, Japan is now look at the difference. Look at the difference between South Korea and North Korea. Valuing life, basic, and this is what Israelis understand. Before you talk about any other rights and freedoms, the right to life is more important than the right to everything else. This is why Israelis say, "I'm Israel high." The people of Israel live, and in this neighborhood in the Middle East, which is the source of the worst ideas that is inflicting this planet, and unfortunately, a lot of people in the West are opening the door to it. A lot of people are just allowing these barbarians to come for liberal countries, but the Middle East is a factory of bad ideas, unfortunately. And we need to go on the offense. We cannot just defend ourselves from the Middle East bad ideas. We actually have to go on trying to change the mindset there. And this is why you have to understand that there are two groups of people, there are two nations here that value life. And if you want to defend Europe and North America, you cannot just be playing the defensive game. You need to be playing the offensive game. And who is on your offensive team? The people of Israel and the people of Iran, because their chants include life. Israeli chant is the people of Israel live, and the Iranian people's chant is woman, life, freedom. They value life over death. So stop just playing a defensive game and use your allies in the Middle East to play the offensive game. The people of Iran and the people of Israel, just like the people of North America and the people of Europe, and also Japan and South Korea and some other places, Australia and some other places, they understand the values that make a society prosper. If you want to survive, you need to go for the source of these destructive ideas and crush them where they're coming from. You cannot just build walls and think that you're going to be immune. Let me actually put another thing before I go to my next rant. Let me actually put this on the screen. Right? So a lot of you saw this. Did you guys see what Yahya Sinwar just recently, his audio was leaked and he said this. Hamas leader said civilian death toll could benefit the militant group in Gaza war. Guys, a lot of you have seen this, but tell me, which civilian death is he referring to here before I read a little bit of the article? Which civilian death is he referring to here? This is the leader of Hamas. He's saying the civilian death is benefiting us. Because a lot are like, oh my God, he's so evil. He's saying civilian casualties on Israeli side benefits us. He's not talking about civilian death on the Israeli side. He's talking about civilian death on the Palestinian side. So with that in my mind, just read it again. Hamas leader says civilian death toll could benefit militant group in Gaza. So let me read a little bit of this article. The military leader of Hamas has said he believes he has gained the upper hand over Israel and that the spiraling civilian death toll in Gaza will work in the militant group's favor, according to a report by the Wall Street Journal, citing leaked messages the newspaper said it had seen. So this is what he said. This is the quote by Yahya Sinwar, the Hamas leader. We have the Israelis right where we want them, Yahya Sinwar told the other Hamas leader recently, according to one of the messages the Wall Street Journal reported on Monday. In another, Sinwar is said to have described civilian deaths as necessary sacrifices while citing past independence-related conflicts in countries like Algeria. So when we were telling you guys on this channel that they want Palestinians to die, and also Palestinians themselves admitting that they want to have as many children as possible for dying. Imagine that. Palestinians who openly admitted that they want to have 9 or 10 children so that they could die, so that they could buy the world's sympathy with it. They use their own children's death to make the world against Israel. You cannot win against such an enemy only on the battlefield. You cannot win. For 2 reasons. Because they are willing to pay such a high price for what they want, a price that the other side is not willing to pay for good reason, because they value life. But also because how do you end wars? Tell me, guys, how do you end wars? You end wars by convincing one or both sides. This is how all wars end. You end wars by crushing the other side to the point that one or both sides come to the conclusion that the war is not worth it. This is called deterrence. One side has to be convinced that the cost of the war is higher than the benefit of the war. How could you do that from a side that sees nothing in this world worthy of value? You can't. So think about these 2 other wars that I'm going to mention: the Cold War and World War II. Cold War and World War II. How did the West and its allies win? They won by understanding that this is not just a military battle, but also an ideological battle. The Nazis lost not just militarily, but also ideologically. And especially the communists. The communists won mostly ideologically. That's why the war remained cold. But now, one reason why we're losing militarily as well is because we're refusing to fight this enemy ideologically as well as militarily. Why are we not fighting? Why were when we were fighting the Nazis, we were fighting them ideologically as well as militarily? We were doing that. And we were doing that with the communists as well. But now we're not doing that. Why are we not doing that? Because it's not politically correct. Because their ideology is Islam. So you have, what I'm saying is, it's not just that the woke is opening the door to the West, opening the door to this barbaric death call to the West. It's not just that. It's also making the offensive strategy a lot weaker, because the offensive strategy could only win if you destroy your enemy ideologically as well as militarily. But you cannot do that, because you cannot question, because governments cannot come and say that Islam is barbaric. It's unimaginable for governments to do such a thing. Why is it unimaginable? Because of the woke ideology. Can you even imagine a politician? I mean, I can now in Netherlands, but how many other politicians are willing to say that Islam is barbaric? that Islam should be destroyed and defeated. They cannot. They were saying that about communism. They were saying that about Nazism, but they can't say this about Islam. This is why this military battle will just continue, because no matter how many of them you kill, there will just always be more of them, and they don't care that they're dying. So what does this mean for you and me? When governments are refusing to fight this battle ideologically, then the civilian responsibility increases. It's up to you and me. It's up to all of you to make sure you are doing the ideological battle, because our governments are not going to do the ideological battle, especially because this is our religion. You cannot expect governments to go against a religion. You can expect them to go against communism and Nazism, but not against a religion. So as important as it was for the fight against the Nazis and the communists to fight this battle ideologically, it is even more important here, because the Nazis cared about life, because the communists cared about life. Even though that ideological was important, the military one was also a lot more significant, because you could crush the Nazis to the point that they were like, okay, I had enough. Because the Nazi, when they saw, a Nazi will cry, a Nazi would be upset when they see the child die. As barbaric as their ideology is, they do care about this life. As insane and destructive as communism is, they care about this life. If their children die, if their buildings are destroyed, if their economy is crumbled, they will surrender. They will bend the knee, because they don't want that. They want a better life. You could defeat them in the battlefield. So even though over there the ideological battle was important, in this battle, the ideological battle in this one that we're fighting today, the ideological battle is 10 times more, 100 times more important. It's actually more important than the military one. Because if you crush them on the battlefield, they are still convinced that they're won, because you cannot convince them that they're losing. This is why Palestinians are constantly refusing peace deals, because there's no amount of suffering that will make them feel like they're losing this battle. Again, nothing is more destructive than an ideology that disvalues life. Okay. Anyways, I think I spoke for enough. I'm going to read the super chats. Let me make sure I have said everything I wanted to say. Yeah, I said everything I wanted to say. Okay. Let me just read the super chats. Thank you so much, Roy, for the 6 shekels. Roy saying, because all you care about is the material existence. Yes, that's what we care about, because that's all that there is. Imagine caring about everything that is. I don't know how to pronounce this name, so I'm not going to try. Thank you for the super chat saying, quite an old belief system. Hassani Sabah and the assassins preferred it in the Seljukian, yes, Seljuk period, 11th century, yes. And also another super chat, Angry Keyboard Warrior saying, have you heard of the We Want to Live movement in Gaza that protested against Hamas rule in 2019 and July till August 2023? Yes, this is why it's important not to generalize all the people in Gaza, okay, and not even all Muslims. You should not generalize all Palestinians or and all the people in Gaza, because the only hope, how do we win this ideological, because I keep saying we should win this ideological battle. How do we win this ideological battle? How do we win them? We could only win, you cannot dismiss, just be like, oh, Muslim bad, oh, Palestinian bad, and dismiss them as too far gone. This is why, as much as anti-Islamic I am, I always try to encourage you not to have an anti-Muslim mindset. You have to encourage an anti-Islamic mindset, but not an anti-Muslim mindset. Because what does winning an ideological war look like? What does winning an ideological war look like? You win an ideological war by convincing people out of an ideology. And you think that they're too far gone and that's impossible? But again, me being Iranian and coming from Iran, well, I know that that's not true. Iran went from being extremely religious from the Qajar dynasty. In less than 100 years, half of the country is now without any religion. Without any religion. A population of more than close to 90 million people have abandoned religion altogether within one lifetime. In less than 40 years, they have abandoned Islam. So don't tell me that that's not possible. And this is why you should not be demonizing Muslims, because we need to talk to Muslims. We need to talk to Muslims. If you want to fight Islam, you need to talk to Muslims. That's why do not back down when it comes to calling Islam evil, but do not let people use that to demonize Muslims, because demonizing Muslims means that we cannot build the bridge, we cannot talk to them. And again, Muslims are on a spectrum. Islam is not on a spectrum. Islam is evil. But Muslims' minds are corrupted by Islam on different scales. Not every Muslim is like ISIS or Al-Qaeda or Taliban or Hamas. Not every Muslim is like that. And you need to understand that, because the Islamic virus has corrupted their minds on different levels. Many of them, even though they're technically Muslim, they have been so influenced by other ideologies that the Islamic mindset influences their way of thinking and life very little. So whatever influence there is from Islam is negative, because Islam is evil. But you have to understand that every Muslim's mind is a mix of multiple different ideas. They're influenced not just by Islam, but by many other things. Just like you are influenced by so many different things, a Muslim mind is influenced by so many different things, not just Islam. Every Muslim is influenced by the books they read, the videos, the YouTube videos they watch, the movies they watch, the friends that they have, the podcasts that they listen to, their parents, and not all of this is Islam. So one Muslim's mind could be 2% influenced by Islam and another 90% by Islam. They're not going to have the same values. They're not going to have the same behavior. Again, that 2% is still all negative, but it's only 2%. So you have to understand that you can't, just because Islam is pure evil, you cannot look at all Muslims the same way. That's important to understand, because I know a lot of you have paid a heavy price for Islam, and that's why that might encourage you to just group all Muslims as just all like each other. But remember, if you do that, you are not going to be able to win this battle against Islam effectively. A Muslim who is values more aligned with you is your way in, just like they're trying to find their way in using a lot of either woke people or liberal people who are confused and are been misled by the woke, the Wokistani Mujahideens, right? By those people, if they are managing to find their way into your base, to the home of your ideas, your values, liberal ideas, enlightenment values. You also have to use the same strategy. We have to find our way in. If you demonize all Middle Eastern people or all Muslims as just barbaric and too far gone, we're not going to have a strong offensive game. I know a lot of you think like, oh, let's just toughen the borders and just crush them on the military or one of these two or both, and that's going to save us. That's not going to save you. The Islamic mind virus does not recognize borders. It does not recognize bullets, and it does not recognize borders. You have to vaccinate your population, and you have to go on the offensive. A strong defense is a good offense. Let me see. We got another super chat. Hi here. Thank you so much for the super chat, saying the time has come for the Iranians to be happy and free. Let's dance again together in every part of the world. Yeah, actually, dancing is now a form of rebellion, because a culture that is anti-life, it's a culture that is anti-joy. It's a culture that is anti-music. It's a culture that is anti-dance. That's why when Iranian people are dancing in the streets, they're actually rebelling against this death cult. And that's why they get arrested. That's why it's a crime to dance in Iran. It's a crime to dance in the streets. When women dance in the streets, and also men. Recently, a man was arrested for dancing in the streets. So it's not just women who get arrested for dancing in the streets. Imagine, don't you think, like, wouldn't you wonder to yourself, are we the baddies here? Like when we are arresting people for being happy, for singing, for music, for dancing. This is what we're up against, and this is what people need to understand. And this is why it's your job to share this video. I see a lot of people are watching this on Twitter. Come to the Atheist Republic YouTube channel, because this is the channel that is going to equip you with the understanding that is required to win this battle. And this channel is not big enough. This channel is tiny. Like, we're 50,000 subscribers. We need to be 100,000. So come to Atheist Republic YouTube channel and subscribe to us there, and tell your friends and everyone else and your enemies, everybody, to come subscribe to Atheist Republic YouTube channel. Like and subscribe and hit the bell notification and leave a comment after the stream is over, so that more people end up seeing this video, especially this video. Again, what I told you in this video is what you are required to understand for winning this battle. And this is the battle of our time. This is the battle of our time. Just like during World War II, fighting the Nazis was the battle of their time. Just like fighting the communists was the battle of their time. Fighting this wokey Islamic unity that is spread, that is not just, before it was just mostly a threat to countries in the Middle East and also the Far East. Now, because of some leftists allowing it in, both in your mind and also in your countries, and also making it very difficult to fight this battle ideologically, both in the front lines. Because of that, this is now a threat to the planet. It's not just a threat to you, a faraway place that it's never going to impact you in any way. This is a threat to every single person that is living on this planet, right? So that's why you need to take it seriously. And again, it doesn't need for it to be a majority population. I'm not saying like Muslims are going to be a majority in your country. It doesn't require it. It doesn't require that. It only needs to be enough for them to be able to influence your politics. Okay, even if it gets to 10%, 5%, this is going to be a very actively like, imagine how much they're already changing the politics of your country without having that much of an influence. This is going to change. This is in the next 10 or 20 years or 50 years. Their influence on your politics is going to be a lot more. If you understand how voting and how the parliaments and how coalitions work, you would understand that going from 10% to 12% and politically active 12% could paralyze your politics, could basically erode all the values, the rights, the freedoms that you have fought for in the past 150 years, that has made your life so much better, that has made your country the way it is. It's because of these values. They could go away if you are not guarding your gates against barbarians. Anyways, I'm going to head out. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to go get ready for my Persian show. The Persian show that I do is on a sister channel, Jamhuriya Bi Khodayan, for an Iranian audience. I do a show in English, and then I do a show in Persian for an audience mostly in Iran. So I'm going to go get ready for that. Oh, thank you so much, Truth Seeker, for becoming a member. That also helps us help support this channel. And Zan Zindagi Azadi and Am Israel. Hi. Yeah, write that in the comment sections. Bye.